members of our planning commission, Steve Huber, Steve Nash, Sunny Okada. And have I skipped anyone else from the planning commission? And then we also have in our audience tonight, Johnny, who is representing Assembly Member Jackie Irwin, and Patty, who is representing our Senator Hannibal Jackson. And at that, I'd like to turn over any comments to...
My boss, the city manager.
Oh, I'm sorry. And my boss, Mr. Frank Nyhoff, city manager. And his wife, Cindy. And at that, I'd like to go ahead and turn over some other opening comments to our city council and our city manager before we start. And then from there, we'll turn our comments over to Mr. Dow.
Go Dow.
City manager or mayor, please,
Sure.
if you want to have a few words.
Thank you very much.
Did you say a few words?
Yes.
A lot of few words.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just recovering from having lost my voice, which is a good thing for this evening. So, can we clap that I've lost my voice? Councilman McDonald is here, and I hope other council members will be joining, and of course, and Mayor Pro Tem is here. And let's give them a round of applause that we're showing up here. I'm so excited because how many times have people said or come up to me to say, when is that downtown going to get back up on its feet? And I think that there's no other process that I can think of with the people that are responsible for tonight that's going to get downtown back on its feet and hopefully sharing the vision just behind us here of the Carnegie Library. What a vision, right? With an endowment about building libraries all across the nation to promote literacy and in that architectural style. And I believe that this evening is going, for me anyway, I'm just here to listen, to learn, and hopefully be part of a new vision and a new dream for downtown Oxnard. So I'm really, really excited, and I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you.
I'm more interested in hearing the people speak, but thank you very much for the offer.
City manager.
I too just want to say good evening. Thanks for all of you coming, and just say simply, this is about collaboration, working together. It's about you. It's about us. It's about Oxnard. And so it's an exciting start tonight, and I just hope everybody really puts their hearts and souls into it, and we get to see our downtown really come back alive. And I want to thank the planning group too. Those citizens, those elected or appointed people that met with me and said, this is what we want to do, and this is what we're going to do. So to them, to show that dedication, I really appreciate all those that stepped up and said, this is what we want to do for our community. So this is truly citizen-driven. Enjoy it. Let's have fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Because of my voice also I'm just recovering from a cold. For those of you who don't know...
water by my water.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dow Doan. I'm a principal architect at Mesa Architects. We're based out of Ventura, but I have worked in Oxnard and lived in Oxnard for a number of years. I've known people in it for the last almost 30 years. I see Vince, Tila. I'm excited to see you here. A lot of familiar faces. But first of all, an apology. An apology because I feel somewhat responsible for you being here rather than being, on Friday evening, have a nice dinner at home. So I apologize for that because I somehow create this situation here in some way. But I can also blame my good friend Roy Prince and the group called the Oxnard community planning group. There's a whole bunch of them. Please stand up, please. You know, they are through their perseverance. They kept asking questions. They keep pushing. What can we do to improve downtown Oxnard? And in desperation to look for some answers to the question, I thought, well, who better than the California New Urbanism, you know? And that's why they call Howard and his group. We just had a chat, and Howard said, yes, this is the opportunity that we've been looking for. This is the kind of community that we want to come in and help people create the vision that you have been perhaps waiting to see happening. Okay? So I'm thankful that you are here, and I have a lot of thanks also to the city, mayor, council members, city manager, Kimberly. You helped make this thing happen. There's a lot of work in the background, a lot of coordination, a lot of logistic stuff. I want to thank the CNU group for taking the time. This is done, the labor is all pro bono. So there are people coming from all over the place. They come from San Diego, some from LA, Orange
Boise,
County.
Idaho.
Yes.
Makes no sense, but it will.
Yeah, from all over the place. So I'm thankful for them, and of course, I'm thankful for the Oxnard Planning Community Group for being here. I have worked in this community close to 30 years, and this is the first time that I feel really optimistic about a plan that will become reality, quite frankly, because of this group. It's diverse. It's just not one. It's not just like a planner or an architect, but a group of diverse people. So thank you for that. And with that, I will turn this to Howard.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Howard Blackson. I'm with the chair of the CNU California. CNU, Congress for the New Urbanism, we've been around for 30-something years. We're based on a process and principles. So we have design principles, placemaking principles, town planning principles, and public processes that go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So we use a tool called the Charette. We've been using this very strange French word for all this time because it sounds like magic and you don't know what it is. And it might be really important, but you don't know. But it's kind of a ploy just to get everybody together. Then we have a book called the Charter that says, I think this is the actual opening sentence, and when I read it, I thought of Oxnard immediately. We view disinvestment in central cities, the spread of placeless sprawl, increasing separation by race and income, environmental deterioration, loss of agricultural lands, erosion of society's built heritage as one interrelated community challenge. So I like that. John Muir has a great quote that says, if you tug on nature, you'll find it's connected to the universe. When we tug on your downtown, we're going to find it's connected to the whole city. So we're very thankful to be here, and we're looking at it, trying to look at it holistically, but also trying to look at it with you. The New Urbanism has organized national groups, and we have these initiatives. We've looked at highways to boulevards. When our group helped San Francisco when the God knocked down the freeway, and they had to build a boulevard. We helped them, and we did it in Milwaukee. We're doing it in other places too, New Orleans, and so we look at highways to boulevards. We look at designing mixed-use, walkable urban thoroughfares. We know that's an issue that you want here. And then we look at sprawl retrofit. How do you retrofit the strip centers, the old malls, and things of that nature? Our group writes books, does papers, performs, does work in other parts of the United States on those initiatives. Darn it. We also done, our work is based on the neighborhood scale. We look at neighborhoods. You have a downtown, but downtown is influenced by several neighborhoods. You have historic neighborhoods. You have working, industrial places with neighborhoods. You have all kinds of different neighborhoods, and that's the scale we like to work at because that's the scale we all live in. We also use the different code techniques. We use context-sensitive codes. We use place-based codes. Oh, thank you. We use a way to get the rules and the regulations to match what you're looking for, because those are parts of the reason why we build the way that we build, and we're trying to build differently. We look at places by context. So if you have downtown, downtown has urban sidewalks with curb and gutter and a street tree and a metal grate. But as you move out, you get a landscape, a street that has houses set back with a split rail, with a picket fence and a nice front yard, and landscaping with the tree and grass. And then you get a little further out of town, and there's a dirt road with a swale and a fence and everything set way back. So where you are in your downtown neighborhood, rural area, it gives you your design responsibilities, gives you your design cues, and that's something we've developed and use here, we intend to use here. Your downtown is your most urban area. Everything from here will be less urban, more rural. You have great rural, natural, agricultural lands, and you have great neighborhoods. Let's get your downtown up to snuff the way everything else is. And as I said, we write too many books about it. Our projects, transit-oriented development work we do in Pasadena, the Bay Area, San Diego, Los Angeles, the Gold Line. We do a lot of transit-oriented work because we see that mixed-use walkable communities also need buses and cars and all of that put together. And it's moving from auto-oriented to multimodal. The other thing we do is this thing called tactical urbanism. Like the charrette, it's a fancy word to say test things before you spend all your money. So this town in Livingston that we did similar work for in the Central Valley, on one block we did a roundabout, a parklet, which is a place for people to sit in a parking space rather than a car, a mid-block crossing, reverse angle parking for bicycle with a bicycle lane, and a bar coffee shop with chairs all over on 1/2 block. Tested it out, we left, they ended up doing this. But they got to see it first. They didn't have to spend all their dough up front to put a bar. I wouldn't put a bar on your street. But it was it's something that we do and something we want to show you. How we want to show you is this kickoff. Yeah, we're just introducing ourselves. We want to have a big general conversation with you all. Tomorrow night, across the street, we're going to have a film festival. You had to RSVP, unless you're a dignitary. You had to RSVP. We have on our flyer so that you can come. We have a series of short films of other towns and other cities that have tried to do some sort of intervention, some sort of plan, some sort of idea to make their cities better. And we're going to have a panel discussion, and we're going to have local people discuss what you see so that you see the relevance of it. And it's more inspiring than some guy consulting with a PowerPoint. We're going to have a walking tour in the rain on Sunday. Yes, we are. We're that weird, I guess. But it is going to be 10:30 at the pagoda over here. So please join us. Bring your umbrella. We're going to have an informal design pinup. We're drawing. We're coming up with ideas. We're testing ideas. We're going to put them up on Monday night, 5:30. We're going to put them up Saturday, 5:30, or 10:30 on Sunday. 5:30 again on Monday. Put things up on the wall here. Come in and look and say, oh, that's good, but that's not right. Help us out. We need your feedback. We need your ideas. We need to hear you say this is in the right direction or not the right direction. And then we're going to have one more presentation that we can get feedback from in a more formal setting at City Hall at 5:30, 5 o'clock at City Hall. And this is our Charrette location throughout. So we've tried to get the word out. We want as many of you in here as possible. We've been having individual meetings the past couple days and throughout the weekend for people who can't make our small group meetings, where we invite specific stakeholders, specific landowners, specific business owners, so that we can all talk candidly. And then we have these large public events which you're a part of too. So we have little, medium, and big meetings so that we kind of cover everything. This is our volunteer. I just want to say, City, thank you for inviting us. This is the type of town that we want to help and do work in. We think these towns are important. And I really appreciate my group of people that have come. We've had about 20 of us that are coming from all over California to help us. They're economists, they're landscape architects, they're urban designers, they're urban planners. I'm missing parking. We have a parking specialist. So we're really pleased with the amount of group and people that we can that we get. Here's the key, the charrette thing. We all learn the same language. We've all read the same books. We've all used the same kind of tools, so we can come together and very quickly get things done. That's why we offer this. So that's why we can do it for a very, for expenses and provide some value to you. So thank you. And then we also have you all. So I appreciate it. And now I've seen this picture so many times now. I understand it. Oh, we're here. Okay, I understand. But you all are very engaged. There's a lot of people downtown. It's really been great how many people we see walking by, how many pictures we get by, and please keep coming by. So the things we want to talk about are things like this. So this is a typical arterial street in an old downtown where there used to be a more walking street, but the cars take over, and there's lanes, through lanes, couple through lanes, couple turn lanes, parking lanes, real car oriented. And yet all the shops are made mocking, and small shops and small businesses, and you got people driving by at 35, 40 miles an hour. This is the same street. The same street had, it's their main street, but they were able to reverse angle the parking so that they could get the bicycles to be seen. When you have this kind of, when you have back-in parking, when you back out, you can't see. When you pull out, you cannot see as well as you can see when you pull straight out for the bike lanes, and it makes bikes feel better, and we're able to have less cars in the way and more bikes walking and people riding bus all in it together so they can get to downtown, spend some time, spend some money. This is Chico, California. Oh, interesting. Oh, I have 2 slides. Do the next one. This is Chico, California. Chico, California, where they built a new town next to their regional mall. And the town has 4-story apartments, townhouses, granny flats, single-family homes, all arranged around a public square, which you kind of know. You have that here in your old town, but this is a new town. It has businesses, it has shops, and it is a mixed-use, walkable place that has a variety of housing, so elderly people can live in a smaller unit with their families, or a smaller unit and a larger unit for larger families, and you can have apartments for young professionals, unmarried people. Everybody can live together. But this is what we entitle and build today. We say, well, we need the shopping in one place, the seniors in another place, the young professionals need the pool over here, and then we'll put the families and have the kids out here, and nary shall the twain meet unless you're driving 55 miles an hour. Hopefully nobody dies. And so this is the difference. We're promoting this type of urban downtown environment as opposed to this. But most of the rules are set in place to make this happen. Your building rules, your environmental rules, the regional rules. Next. This is Lancaster, California in the desert, high desert. This was a project that was done by people in the room here where they took the state highway, the state relinquished their highway, and they turned it in from a typical state arterial road into a festival marketplace with driving and with streets and as well as people and walking, and it created a ton of economic potential that hadn't been there before. So I'm trying to show you different ways of doing the same thing. There's many ways to take on the street, but the issue is how do you get people downtown versus how do you get cars downtown? You have cars downtown. There's also Ventura as a form-based code that people in this room had worked on. It created a nice new mixed-use urban building in the downtown that's quite nice and responsive to the local context. Just because you put solar panels on your Walmart doesn't mean it's a more sustainable downtown building. It doesn't have the same as where it has a shop, an office, and a residence. It's still a Walmart, still that pattern. You can chart it up as much as you want. And then finally, we take a look at things, you got one more. The old mall, the shopping mall, that are the lifestyle center, and our group is the people that are taking those malls and turning them into main streets and residential mixed-use town centers, rather than being large expanses of malls and things of that nature. So I think what I'm trying to show you too is that there's lots of trends out there, and The trends are, we had the period where we had to have the mall, then we had the period we had the lifestyle center, and now we have the period where we want the downtown. We're part of that trend making. And it's kind of building upon layers of layers. Your city has a great history of having big star architects come to town. Frank Gehry's worked here on one of your buildings. Frank Gehry is one of the most famous architects in the world. You had John Jurdy. John Jurdy was the first person who built the lifestyle mall. He did the Fremont experience in Las Vegas, very famous for doing downtown spectacles. And you've had Victor Gruen, who created the mall and came to town. So you've had a lot of really important people come through here. We're not those people. We're trying to make it where you're the important people. You give us the input, and we try to make it fit your downtown. Because this is kind of how we feel. Like we say 50s, 60s, downtown was valuable. You had an edge, and you had a center, and downtown really had it was where people came. It was where shops were. And what happened over time is we took pieces, and we took some of the value of downtown in the 70s, and then in the 80s, and then in the 90s, and we moved it out to the edge of your town. And then today we're going, oh, we're broke. What's happened? That's why I said at the beginning, what happens in downtown needs to relate to the way you plan and look at your entire city. And so the idea of silver bullets or Frank Gehry or somebody that's going to come in and do this one project at this one time, this is timeless. And we need to figure out how to add money to this while maintaining the value that you have of the rest of your city. We're not saying pick it up, put it back. We're saying add to this. Let's add new value to this. So that's my opening spiel. Any questions real quick before I ask you all some questions? I will make you work. I've got some homework for you to do. Any questions, please?
What did Frank Gehry do here?
What did Frank do, Dean? Or Dave?
He tried to revive the Center Point Mall.
Center Point Mall.
It didn't.
But isn't that something? I had no idea. So you had G. Gehry, G. Gruen, G. Jurdy. Oh, I guess he was J. Never mind. Blew that idea. All right. Any other quick questions? Sir?
You mentioned parking in a couple of your comments.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of extensive research into how to convert.
Yes. We think a parking management plan is something that would be very, very helpful here because you've already started it. You built a public parking garage. Great. Most towns that we work in are saying, gosh, what would happen if you built a parking garage? Well, you build it and then you begin to build upon that. That's the next step. We understand a parking management plan from Nelson Nygaard had been done, and 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They're part of the team that's coming back to help us figure out how to make it work now that they've seen the results. So they're helping us. Ma'am in the back.
Are you aware that we've been down this road at least a half a dozen times before tonight? And we have spent millions of dollars in these kinds of presentations.
Very aware.
Ideas and so forth that have gone nowhere.
Very aware. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I saw a hand up over here. Sir.
What are you going to do with the homeless? I'm putting security access controls on an office building because transients come in, they park in a building full of women who are intimidated, and somebody had to pay the guy to leave.
We'll help you. We will do the best we can with an urban design vision plan for the homeless situation that every city in California is dealing with. Every city. You're not unique. We're going to work on that. Thank you. Sir.
Just want to add another quick comment. The most famous architect ever to do work in the city of Oxnard, also in downtown Ventura, and LA City Hall was A.C. Mark.
It's amazing. It's amazing who's come through here. So we're very intimidated.
Thank you. Are you hired by somebody?
So yeah. So we let cities know we have we had a press release that went out to cities, and we sent information to cities that says if you're a town, apply for an application for our help, and we use these techniques, and this is what we do. And if you'd like our help, we'll do it for the cost of expenses, so that we all get here and stay here and spend money. And so the Dow is a member of our team, and the planning group made an application that we accepted. We've done it in Livingston, we've done it at Newport Beach. Just so you know, Newport Beach kind of helped us get here. And our intent is to work with the Local Governments Commission from the state to do more of these events as grants come out so that we can provide our expertise for towns who need help, who don't have a ton of money to bring in another Charrette or Geary. So that's the idea. In the back, and then I'll come to you.
A simple question.
Please.
What do you mean by granny flats?
Accessory units, outbuilding units, the flats that go behind a single-family home, or the flats that go behind a townhouse. So it's
For size though, what do you mean by size when you say a granny flat?
it's single studio to one bedroom. Is that what you mean? Size?
Square footage.
350 to 1,000.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Does that help?
Thanks.
Because I don't know how big they can be yet when looking at your 140 foot by 25 to 50
Okay, well,
lots.
there's a lot of aspects of this whole project that I was curious.
Thank you, sir.
There's already two groups in downtown that one gets money directly from,
Yeah, Oxnard Business, the Oxnard Business Group. Right.
there's two of them.
And then there's a community planning group. So we're working with both of those groups. We've had,
Are you having input, or are they part of this committee, or?
they're having input as key stakeholders to this group, like a landowner or a merchant or a planning staff, some people like that. So
But rather than input, if you have these groups that have been here for quite a few years and
Yes.
taking attendance, why aren't they officially part of the committee or somehow involved?
So the first group, one of those two groups was Dow's group. He spoke, and I hope you all feel like you're a part of our team. Okay. So there's one. The other group, Abel, met with him twice today, and we're meeting with him again on Saturday in his group. He's as important as this as anybody else. Okay. Please.
Once was told by the city staff that any additional housing or anything like that in the area, that the infrastructure in the downtown area is so old, it can't support any more
What infrastructure are you talking about?
water pipes and sewer pipes.
Okay, water pipes and sewer pipes. We understand that sewer is an issue here because you're so flat, but thank you. So there's a water sewer pipe issue here. Okay, thanks. All right, one last question, sir.
So I recently visited Portland, Oregon, maybe a couple months ago, a month ago, and I was.
So you went to Europe?
Yeah, pretty much. And I was amazed by the transportation. You know, I got out of the airport, went to my hotel, went to the downtown, all
right,
not even walking, right. And I understood that they envisioned that like 30 years ago.
That's right.
And then it, you know, I went to go experience the dream, you know. So
did you like it or not like it?
I loved it. It was great.
Vancouver did the same thing too. They both about that same time had these things called city plans, and Vancouver is one of the most livable cities in the United States.
North America.
The world. The world. And so yeah, having a plan helps coordinate how you spend your money, sir.
And let me just
say, please.
And during that time, I felt I visited so much, and I did so many things throughout that whole city. I mean, fast, you know, just by using the transportation. So.
But yes, good. Thank you. That's a good example, sir.
Yes. Purposing and adding to the previous gentleman's, not Tomas, but the previous one that comment about engaging some of the existing
groups,
existing downtown groups. I'll stand up. Existing downtown groups. I'm more inclined to recommend, because of the city having the largest population and demographic of young racial ethnic professionals.
Yeah.
We need to change the dynamic. And so I'm wondering, how are you reaching out? You know, even as I look around here, I don't see that demographic well represented in this room. I'm very concerned about that, because that's what we need, an influx of that type of input into this process that can shape the city for the future.
You want to answer that?
I would just like to answer that question. I'm actually a part of CBG, and I noticed that. You know, there's probably not as many people as I invited as I wish there was. So I just heard someone mention that this was you know, promoted, because it was everywhere. It was on Facebook, it was online, it was just everywhere. I tell all my friends. And so a lot of people just don't make it. That's just the reality. So, you know.
I'll say this too. So we're trying to do the film festival is an opportunity to do something different.